Right. Yeah. Omar here with Chicago Cycling Network, and I'm just here to introduce somebody who's I think is very amazing. He's a good friend of mine, one of my biking buddies. Most mornings at Cortado when we finish our bike ride, me and this guy we ride home together, as I nickname him Scuba Steve, because I think he's just funny. And if you've seen the movie, you kind of know the reference. I'm talking about Scuba Steve. But yeah, he's a fantastic guy, and just wanted to introduce him because he did something really, really amazing. And it's 2025, and we might be looking for a new goal to do this year. And I think what this guy did was really, really amazing. And it's something that we all could try out and push ourselves to a new limit and to experience something different in Chicago. So when I heard that he did this, I was like mind blown. So I'm here with Steve. So Steve, please tell us, what did you do?
Yeah, so I rode every street and bike path in Chicago, and it's 4,265 miles of unique road.
Wait. You did what? You did what?
Yeah, rode every street and every bike path in Chicago.
So that means that, think about this, guys. So any street you've ridden in Chicago, drive on, walk on, this guy, he has done that. All right. I mean, just think about that. So wherever you go to pick up your grocery, anywhere you have gone, he has ridden on those streets. So he knows everywhere, all the secret spot, he knows where they are. So this guy's done that. Yeah. So what inspired you to do this?
Yeah.
I mean, what was the starting point? I mean,
yeah. So in 2020, when the pandemic hit, and there's basically very little traffic, I started riding on different roads that I normally wouldn't go on. I mean, I started going down like all the way down Dundee and Gulf and basically different roads like that usually a lot of traffic on. And then I started to try to ride every street in Evanston, and I did that. Just about finished it back then, and then did every street in Kenilworth and Glencoe, and basically all up the North Shore. Just the really, it's really beautiful, kind of on the back roads of some of those neighborhoods. And at some point during that time, I was at the grocery store and I was looking at a bag of coffee beans, and I noticed it was like roasted on the south side of Chicago, and I thought I should ride down and see these guys.
Cool.
And it turned out they were kind of on the border of Back of the Yards in Inglewood, and so I rode down there one morning, and it was awesome. Like the coffee shop had kind of a community vibe to it, and people like talked to me about their neighborhood. And I just loved it. And when I went down there, I didn't take the lakefront path. I tried to basically take some of the roads like Damon all the way down, something like that. And it was just awesome. And so I saw like streets that I never would have seen before. And so I kept kind of going back to do that around different neighborhoods around Chicago. And I use an app called Wanderer that kind of keeps track of all of the unique miles you've done. And then it gives you statistics like, you've completed 25% of the city or 50% of the city. And it does that also by neighborhood in Chicago. So it started to become a bit of a game to like try to finish them. And I didn't think I would complete the whole thing or that I even make a goal of it until I got to about like 60%. And I was
that's the magic number.
Yeah. Then I was like, man, I can finish this. And it took me about 3 years of constant effort to go down there and keep working on it and finish it up.
Oh, wow. So I mean, so you rode all the way from north side to south side. And, I know that there's also some kind of negative connotation with like south side. Oh, you went to south side, and here I am, a Caucasian guy riding my nice, expensive bike in south side Chicago. I mean, how was that? How was that experience?
Yeah.
I mean, how do you feel riding in south side?
Yeah, I mean, for the most part, it was fine. I mean, there's definitely neighborhoods where it's pretty rough there, right? It's just impoverished, and the houses are kind of run down. But I honestly pretty much only ever met like nice people. There was a number of occasions where, I mean, I wasn't really ever lost, but people would stop me and be like, "Hey, man,
are you okay?
Are you are you trying to ride through here?" Or it'd be like a dead end. They'd be like, they'd like call me over. They'd be like, "Yo, you can't go down that way." So I'd stop and talk and be like, no, we're going down this dead end for a reason. And they'd be like, oh, that's cool. And we talk a little bit about the neighborhood. I'm just kind of hear about it. And the only problem I ever really had was with dogs. I got chased by German Shepherds a number of times. That was probably the scariest thing.
Chain your dogs, please. Chain your dogs.
Yeah. I mean, it was honestly usually kind of honest situations where like it was like a random park in the corner of the city, and somebody had their German Shepherds off leash, not expecting to see a cyclist come riding through, and they would charge me. So that was usually pretty scary.
So I mean, and somebody, when you get chased so many times, were you on a segment? Did you get a calm from that?
No, no, I usually actually had to get off. And like the worst one was 2 German Shepherds, and they were like circling me, and I had to get off my bike until like the owner could get them wrangled.
Wow.
I had another time when I saw in this like plumbing yard a guy with his dogs, and I it was down a dead end. I turned around, I kept going, and after like 3 minutes, my Vario radar was going off. Like the car was coming behind me. And I looked behind me, and there's a German Shepherd charging me. So that when I hit the gas, stuff like that. I mean, there was other dogs that get chased by, but they were usually like little like miniature poodles that got chased by, things like that. Like chased all the time, but it was the big ones that.
Yeah, that's that. I mean, I can just imagine, you're just like probably just laughing at the same time. So it's like, this is kind of crazy, but it makes for a good story, right? Because it keeps things exciting and keep you going and stuff. So for anybody who wants to do this, would you advise them to like try this out? Because I know there's other people who are actually doing this, right? So
there was one guy who actually finished before me. He was a guy who got laid off in 2020, and he took it as a retirement, kind of an older gentleman, and so he was out there every day doing it. And so it took him about 2 years maybe to do it. I was just doing it Saturdays and Sundays. It took me a little bit longer. There's another guy who's finished it since I finished it. And then there's a number of other people that are kind of getting pretty close, around, 80, 90%.
Oh, good. So be motivated and just keep on pushing. If Steve do it, you can do it. So do you have to like 100%, or is like a percentage you have to reach to actually like say, okay, I've actually completed all the streets, or it has to be 100%?
Well, the game part of it, where it tells you like the percentages, it will tell you it's complete at 99%. And because it is all based on OpenStreetMap data, and some of that's imperfect. Like it will say you have to ride somewhere, but it's actually impossible to get back there. It's gated or something, or locked up, or other things that are actually not really paths. But anyway, so you get to 99%.
That's it.
Done.
So 99%, guys, that's all you're going to do. So if you need something for 25 to do, and that's unique and cool, hey, you can reach out to Stevie's and Strava. You can find them where else. Come to Cortada. We're always here. So, check it out. Yeah. So I remember talking to Ed, one of our friends, and he was saying that one thing he want to do differently, because I think he want to do all the streets in Scottsdale, Arizona. And he said one thing he realized that, like he was actually riding to go to ride the street. So you can ride basically like 60 miles, but only like 5 of those miles are new mileage, right? So what would you do different? Would you like drive to the starting point and do more mileage and
never
stuff?
Never drive. It was my personal rule to never drive anywhere. I would occasionally take the train. So like if it was like a strong wind out of the south, then I would take the train down to 95th, take the red line down, then ride around and then ride home. So it either start or end. The only time I actually rode in a vehicle was when I like triple flatted and I was completely out, and I was down at like 103rd. I had to take a couple of buses that day. We got my way home eventually. But
you can always call us. You could have called us.
Drive that far. But I don't remember quite what the question was, but like, so riding to places, you could organically kind of pick up new miles if you just kind of rode to where you're going to go and then ride around. I made the mistake early on of being like all of the North Side neighborhoods. I started to ride a lot of those because it was cool and fun and exploring them. But then I had to rewrite all of that
to go south,
to get to the south side.
So you need to ride south first and then come north.
Yeah. So I probably rode most of the North Side streets, twice at least, if not a bunch of times. I mean, I've probably been down like Western Avenue like 40 times. I think I am the
local legend.
The local legend. Some of the Western segments.
Sounds pretty awesome. Anyway, yes, that's awesome. So you can get local legend while you're doing these things over and over. And people who are the geeks who are on Strava, they know what local legend means. So it's a high honor to have. So we take comms and local legend very serious. So that's pretty amazing. So I mean, this is one of the coolest thing I've ever seen. Just to imagine that somebody ridden of all the streets. Like sometimes I go south side sometimes, and you said you go to some like some kind of sketch neighborhoods, and things go run down. I'm like, wait, and in my mind I'm like, wait a minute, Steve actually running the street already. And it's like mind blowing. So I always tell my wife, like, think about this. Steve just running this already. He rode this at some time and point. So this is a pretty amazing. And I remember the last day when we went, because I think the last day, like, how many miles you had on the last day when we went with you?
We just had to pick up one new mile, and we rode like 30 miles.
35 miles just to ride 1 mile.
Yeah.
But the things I saw was pretty cool. So yeah, I mean, it's exciting, and I'm really, happy that you did this and we can talk about it because it makes for a great experience. So anything you want to tell anybody who want to try this?
Well, the only thing I would say is like to go out there. Not that you have to ride every street of Chicago to go see it, but there's 500 miles of bike lane in Chicago. So there are safe places to go for cyclists if you're a little bit nervous about riding on the streets, and you can go and see some. I think are just some really fascinating places around the city that you wouldn't normally see. The south side, the north side, even some of the west side just has some really fascinating things. You can look up stuff and some of the history of Chicago, and just you can go see that stuff. And you go see it on your bike. It's like being a kind of a bike tourist, but locally. It's awesome.
So next we're going to be hearing about Steve biking tour.
That's right.
Come and join me on Saturdays and Sundays. Let's go get some new miles.
That's right. I'll give you my discount code.
All right. Hey, that works, man. Thank you for being here, Steve.
Yeah.
It's pretty amazing, and more amazing things to come, guys. There's so much to do in Chicago, like we never even think about, and we have so much to explore in the city and to see, and we have amazing people to meet. Steve is one of them. As again, he's like a good friend of mine, and we ride together. I see him maybe like 4, 5, 6 times for a week, sometimes twice on Sundays, maybe depending.
That's right.
We hang out, so it's really joy to and be grateful to have you to come and talk to us about this. So, guys, stay inspired, be inspired, try something new. It's all about the miles and smiles, and all the best for 2025. And we're gonna just keep the miles and smiles going. So again, Omar here from Chicago Cycling Network. Many more amazing things to come. We've got many amazing people like Steve in Chicago that we can learn from, and let's try something new. So, Steve, thank you so much.
Yeah, thanks.
It was awesome.
Yeah,
it was a pleasure.